Well, Atlus did it. They proved me wrong. They did not announce, after a week-long countdown, a mobile game, a gacha game, an NFT game, a VR project, or just a weird theatrical rendition. Atlus announced today that they are bringing out, this year, Soul Hackers 2. Not Shin Megami Tensei Soul Hackers 2, not Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Soul Hackers 2. No, this is just Soul Hackers 2, and I am here to break down all the news you need to know about it so far. Now, coming from a Soul Hackers expert slash superfan as myself, I wanted to make this video basically to inform everybody out there why you should be excited about this game, what information we've learned through Atlus Japan and the Atlus West. There's been a lot of info out there. There's still more info coming in, but there is still enough info out there that I thought, let's make this video, let's break down some facts, and let's get people excited for, now that Monarch is out, my most anticipated JRPG of 2022. Sorry, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So, first up, Soul Hackers 2. I've gotten this asked a lot. You do not need to play the first one to enjoy Soul Hackers 2. Soul Hackers is a great game that I plan on replaying before the sequel comes out later this year, but this does not require any knowledge. This is very, very loosely based in the universe of it. There's not a direct continuation. There will be references, there will be Easter eggs, but you do not need to play the first game to pick up the second game. So, if you're worried about not wanting to buy an $80 3DS game, don't worry. You are still fine to jump into this blind, even if you don't have a Sega Saturn or a 3DS out there. Now, let's get off with some of the easy stuff. Atlus is releasing Soul Hackers 2 worldwide at the exact same time. Now, in Japan, the game is coming out on August 25th, 2022, and in the West, it is coming out August 26th, 2022, which, by Atlus standards, that's still a worldwide release and considered an absolute win for most of us. The game will be releasing on many platforms, way more than I would have ever thought. It is releasing on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series S, PC with Steam and the Windows Store, and that is an insane amount of games to be launching this game on. And crazy enough, this is Atlus's first time developing for, well, I would say next-gen hardware, but it's almost 2 years old at this point, but still, considering how few people actually have a Series X or a PS5, still pretty crazy that they are actually doing this, and it is a surprise project. So, a lot of first here with this game announcement. PS5 and Xbox Series versions, a really big deal. I know a lot of people out there are disappointed that there is no Switch version. I will be making a separate video later in the week discussing the logistics about why we may not be getting a Switch version at launch, but obviously stay optimistic, and if you're really upset about it, just remember, less than 4 months ago, you just got Shin Megami Tensei 5 as a system exclusive, so don't worry, you've still got lots of stuff to play on the Switch, especially this year. Cough cough, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, next up, what else makes it interesting that it is going to be on next-gen hardware? Well, that is the fact that it is Atlus's first game that they have developed themselves that is a 4K native resolution game. It is absolutely crazy that it took them this long, especially with how many games they put out on the PlayStation 4, but either way, doesn't matter. Atlus is now making games in 4K. We can only assume that Soul Hackers 2 will run in 60, and I cannot wait. This game already looks, through streams and compressed quality, looks amazing. I am super excited to see how this cell shading looks running in native 4K on my PS5. Very excited. All of you out there with super beefy PCs, also be excited. Xbox, this is a huge thing. Not only that it's coming on Series X, but it's coming on Xbox at all. Xbox One as well. This is a huge win. Atlus themselves have not published a game on Xbox since Ultimax, and that was all the way back in 2014. Even this new re-release for Ultimax that comes out next month, that is not even coming on to Xbox One. I'm glad that they are trying this out. I am really optimistic. I think the fact that it is also coming to Steam and the Windows Game Store makes me think that, okay, I'm smelling Game Pass. So, Uncle Phil Spencer, this is your chance. This is your time to strike. If you want Atlus to be happy, make this port do well. Let's get some marketing. Let's get some Game Pass pushing. I hope as many people get to experience this on any platform they want as possible. Super excited about all the possibilities there. Really excited. So, along with that, some other stuff to know. There will be a Japanese dub. That is what we've only seen so far, but there will also be, and they confirmed this today through Atlus West, there will be a English dub, as well as English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish subtitles. So, 100% eFig support. Nothing that crazy, but considering Atlus's history, we have to take all the victories we can in terms of international subtitle support and representation. So, very excited there. Now, diving into the game. In terms of the story, it takes place around halfway through the 21st century. There are two devil summoning factions. That is the Yata Arasu versus the Phantom Society. So, both of them are at war with each other, and you are thrusted into this battle trying to prevent the end of days, the ruin of society, and the cast of characters that we'll be playing as is going to be Ringo, who is kind of like the main protagonist character we've seen so far in terms of the marketing. Ringo is an Aeon agent. She was born alongside Fig. Fig is spelled F-I-G-U-E. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Fig is more of the one who was guiding, and Ringo is the one who you will be fighting alongside the other devil summoners. These other devil summoners include Arrow, Milady, and Cizo, or Sizo, who I will also probably mispronounce until I hear it officially said. These three are brought into the war with the Phantom Society, and they are working with the different Aeon agents to progress things. We still don't know too much with the story so far, but has an interesting premise with the war, the different factions of the different devil summoners. Really, really excited. Hopefully we get to see more battles between different devil summoners and not just devil summoners facing countless demons and hordes and bosses like that. Now, in terms of the gameplay, the battle system is called the Sabbath battle system, and this is based off the press turn system. You'll see different mechanics like all-out attacks and weaknesses being used for multiple attacks still on display here. We don't know too much more. This is definitely not just, oh, it's Persona 5, or oh, it's SMT 5, or even, oh, this is just Tokyo Mirage Sessions. This is clearly its own thing with lots of inspirations by other past press turn systems in SMT. Really excited to see how this kind of plays out. Soul Hackers 2 is actually being developed by a lot of people who worked on the original Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and you'll definitely kind of realize while looking at the footage here, the game is very, very heavily focused in it, and it seems to be using a much more graphically impressive cel-shaded version of that engine that we saw in Tokyo Mirage Sessions back on the Wii U as well as the Nintendo Switch. So, in terms of some of the people who are working on this game, first up we have the product manager, Shinjiro Takada, who has worked on the original Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Devil Summoner 2, and even Shin Megami Tensei 5 last year. And we have the producers and the directors. First up is Eiji Ishida. He worked on the 3DS version of Soul Hackers all the way back in 2013, as well as Shin Megami Tensei 4, and Mitsuru Harada, who some of you may know from directing Radiant Historia, but also directed Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Now, we don't know too much more of the staff in terms of the actual developers. I hope we find out a lot more of it there, but now, so far, just with the producers, directors, and managers, I'm very, very optimistic. As a lot of you know, I'm a big Tokyo Mirage Sessions fan, so more of that team working on Soul Hackers 2, the better. I always thought that team was incredibly, incredibly underrated in terms of their work at Atlus. I know Tokyo Mirage Sessions is not everybody's favorite or even everybody's cup of tea, but there is a really, really solid base core gameplay system there, even if you're not a fan of the J-pop setting and idol life. So throwing that team and hopefully seeing them really shine on next-gen hardware as well as PC and Soul Hackers 2 could not be more of like a fantasy pick for me if I had ever picked one myself. Now, a little bit more interesting news in terms of the art design comes from Shiro Miwa, who some of you may know through various different works, but for me, the first thing I recognized them from was actually the Seventh Dragon franchise. And the music is actually being worked on by the production company Monica, who most of you will probably recognize from their work in the Nier series, which, as a huge fan of Monica's sound library, even outside of Nier, I think is a really, really good match made in heaven. The soundtrack so far is very, very interesting. They use synths in a really fun way. Definitely gives me that kind of Soul Hackers vibe with a more modern edge to it, and I'm really, really excited. It's not just your typical, oh, it's J-pop for a futuristic RPG setting. So really, really can't wait with that. Other things to wrap this up. So far we have, in terms of pre-order news, the game will be releasing in Japan physically on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. There will be a Japanese collector's edition called the 25th Anniversary Soul Hackers Edition, because, if you didn't know, this game is actually releasing on the 25th anniversary of the original Soul Hackers on the Sega Saturn all the way back in 1997 in Japan. So really, really cool that this lined up. Now, this 25th anniversary box set is a really cool collection. This includes, obviously, the game, a 3-disc soundtrack with over 30 different tracks, a 100-plus page book, which will include visual media not only from the original Soul Hackers, but obviously Soul Hackers 2. There will be a Ringo Frost figure, so as I mentioned before, Ringo is one of the characters in the game. There is actually a Jack Frost version, so if anyone here has seen Rido Frost or other things like that, like from Strange Journey, this is a brand new adaptation of Jack Frost, but based off Ringo, and I think looks absolutely awesome. The jacket looks really, really cute. Having it in figure form will just honestly make my day. I'm such a sucker for little crossover things like this, and I'm normally not a huge fan of figurines, but just the fact that it is a new Frost, I could not resist. That will also be a Ringo Frost AI DLC, and another DLC bonus that comes with the Collector's Edition is the maid costumes. So these maid costumes, as well as the Ringo Frost DLC, you have to get the Collector's Edition in Japan. We don't have word yet on physical pre-orders or Collector's Editions at all in terms of the West, but I'm sure that we will be getting updates closer to the August release date for that as well. Now, in terms of pre-order bonuses, these are way more of a slam dunk in terms of, I'm sure this will be everybody's pre-order bonuses because these seem way too easy of a win for everyone. So if you pre-order the game, you get the Persona 5 costume and OST DLC bundle set. Now with this, you will get costumes in the form of, you can dress up Ringo as Joker from Persona 5, Skull's costume can be on Arrow, Milady can dress up as Panther, and you can have Saizo be dressed up as Akechi, and while you're playing, you can even switch out the music, so Keeper of Lust is playing, and there's even a Phantom Thief's Mask accessory item that can increase your stats, and then you can put that on everybody. But yeah, all in all, it seems like a really great pre-order bonus. I know some people may not be the biggest fans of Persona 5 after seeing it for so many years, but obviously Persona 5 still has a lot of fans out there, and I think crossing over with Soul Hackers in this way is really, really interesting. I would not be surprised if there was a lot more DLC. This game seems absolutely rife to have other Devil Summoner crossovers, so do not be surprised if there is DLC that includes Rido, or the protagonist from the original Soul Hackers, or even the original Devil Summoner, which would be such a blast from the past, just because that series has really not gotten a lot of love in a very, very long time. But yeah, that's kind of it in terms of all the info. We have a basic grasp of the story. The gameplay is looking interesting and a unique, fresh take. The characters seem really, really great. The game's graphical style, for me personally, I'm really, really impressed by. The music seems great. I can't wait to see more. I'm really excited to get my hands on this. Atlus is planning on showing off a lot more soon. They will be updating and putting retailer bonuses for Japan. Crossing my fingers for a steelbook. Don't let me down, GEO. And obviously, for all that update, all those news, stuff like that, please consider subscribing to the channel. There will be updates in terms of when the collector's editions go live, what the pre-order bonuses in the West are going to be, if there's any retailer Western exclusives, stuff like that. But either way, let me know what you think. Please write in the comments below. Are you excited for Soul Hackers 2? What is something about the game that you want to know about yourself? If you have any questions for me, feel free to also ask them there, or you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Torchwood4SP. You can also tweet at the podcast, which is at SMT Network. By the way, thank you all so much during this reveal, actually, when this got announced earlier this morning. We finally hit over 6,000 subscribers, which I was very, very surprised and very pleased with. So if you are not subscribed already and just found this video because you are a big Atlus fan, please consider subscribing. I have a weekly podcast I do called Shin Megami Tensei Network that comes out every Tuesday. We have a Patreon if you would like to support us there. $1 a month or more gets you a bunch of extra perks. All that stuff really, really helps, but either way, I've shilled for way too long. I'm just very excited about Soul Hackers 2. I will see you later this week to discuss the reason why there is no Switch version for Soul Hackers 2, but in the meantime, I am off to go think about Soul Hackers 2 because I have not said the word Soul Hackers 2 enough. See you, everybody. Bye.